All right, we're recording. So I would love to have some folks share from the team just some specific things that they've done that I see they do very well. So first of all, let's see, Mandy, I know you were on the call, and if you could go ahead and just start us off with just getting your business started and kind of out the gate. I really loved kind of the blinders that you put on, kind of, like the blinders that go like this, and you just had tunnel vision and move forward. And if you could share what that looks like. And for you guys, Mandy, you can maybe share who you are for those of you on the call who don't know you very well. But I will say that Mandy is a very busy working mother, so who has with a husband who owns a business and works Arbonne alongside all of those duties. So Mandy, take it away.
All right, everybody, good evening. My name is Mandy Hilletzi. For those who don't know me, I live in Fairfax, Virginia. I am I work as a part-time nurse practitioner now, about 24 hours a week, and I have two children, very young, 2 and 3 years old. Again, I'm super busy, so that's like in itself 2 full-time jobs for me. And then, like Megan says, my husband is a physical therapist and just recently opened his own practice. So super busy, but just gonna talk to you guys a little bit about how I started the business. The whole ignorance and fire was totally me. I literally jumped in about almost a year ago today, or in a couple of days, and I literally just signed up, bought my product, and Megan said get the 2 parties on the books, and I put the 2 parties on the books, and everything in me really wanted to cancel them, but I didn't. It was just the fear factor, again. So all your fears that everyone has, we really have the same thing. But I partnered with Megan and my sponsor, and I really just listened to what they said. And they said, book your 2 parties, book your parties, fill them up with people. And I did. And I immediately got into Dropbox. And I can tell you, Dropbox was probably the first thing that really reassured my fears when I listened to the welcome call from Andy, and then doing the other 3 calls after that. I literally had a big sigh of relief, just confirming, I guess, my fears that it was normal. And I immediately did my whys, did the 100-person list, and really just all the homework that we ask you to do when we're trying to launch a new person. And that's it. I plugged into the calls. I've never missed a meeting, and I can't tell you enough how those meetings, really those monthly meetings, just help kind of build your belief and just push you forward when you're just not too sure about what you're doing. And then once I kind of just got going, I can tell you it was probably really my first launch told me that, hey, I can do this. Like, people are interested in product. It wasn't like the most successful one, but people were interested. And by the second launch, I can tell you I was like, I've got this. So again, those 2 launches are just so important to just show you how you can do this business. And I can tell you, with month 1, I went into DM Qual, and I was just super excited with my paycheck. And I'm very open to sharing my paycheck with you guys, because I think it's part of the business. You really kind of want to know what you can do. And really by my first month, my paycheck was about $200. And I was like, hey, this is pretty decent for having 2 launches on the books. Like, I was happy with that. And on month 2, on my second launch, I was fortunate enough to be able to bring business partners with me. So my sister signed on, and she had someone else sign on under her. And I think I had another gal who signed up with me too. And literally with that, it took me to finish DM on my second month. And my paycheck again was around $200. And then by month 3, because I was a district manager, my paycheck just completely changed. And you guys, I mean, month 3 was very busy because that was GTC month. So, we were there for like half the week, but I think it did really fire us up, and we just kept going. We booked parties nonstop. That's all I can remember about May, is that we just booked parties left and right between me, my sister, and Rosie underneath her, and we just hit it. And again, by month 3, I was like, I'll never forget getting my paycheck, because I had to call Megan. I was like, are you kidding me? My paycheck is $600. And I was just like, I could do this. Like, if this is the way I'm going to be rewarded, I can totally do this. And so And all I can say is it just kept growing. And I just want to let you guys know that everyone can totally do this. Again, if you say you're too busy, I was super busy. It's not like I literally just had to work it in my nooks and crannies. And that's really it. I mean, partner with your upline, because if you don't know how to fill your calendar, we're totally here to help you. I mean, I still need help, and Megan totally helps me when I just don't know how to fill in, my calendar because of what I want it to look like. So, I really challenge you guys to just partner with your upline to help you where it's needed, and they are more than happy to do that. I think that's it.
Awesome. And Mandy, I remember right when you got started, you had your business launches, but you were already finding other people to host for you as well. Correct. So you even dove into kind of understanding I don't know if it was understanding, if it was just pure, I don't know. So I'm just going to ask. As soon as you were launching, you were like, and this person is hosting for me, and this person is hosting for me. So you kind of just jumped into a ton of momentum by really partnering with me and your sponsor just to get in front of people with you.
Correct. And I still remember, my launches, I mean, I was still selling product to them over the phone. I mean, I guess some of them were my friends, and so they were very willing to try it, and then they hosted for me.
Yeah. So awesome. Well, thank you. So Tammy's on the call as well, and I don't think I've ever been as impressed with someone as I was with Tammy when she started this business and got set up for success. And so I just asked Tammy to share. She comes from with an operational background and a corporate executive background, and is actually working 2 businesses right now. And on top of that is working an Arbonne business and has a family to take care of with little ones as well. So Tammy, if you would be open to sharing with us just a little bit about how you got set up for success.
Sure. When I started Arbonne, I didn't know anything about network marketing, and I think that kind of overwhelmed me at first. And it was an animal that I really needed to, sit down and attack. So the first thing I did was I got into Andy's Dropbox, and she had that getting started checklist, and it was a series of calls and things that you needed to do to get set up. And I just kind of followed my way through that. And through that, I was able to set up a foundation, and I found some goal setting sheets and things like that. And then I found myself kind of going through her Dropbox, looking through all these files. I started to get overwhelmed again, and I was like, no, I need to focus. So I focused on just that starting checklist that she had in there and making sure that I knocked that out. And then what I did is something that I always do is I migrate to books on tape and audiobooks, because I can do them no matter where I am. So I have an Audible subscription. It costs me about, I want to say between $9 or $10 a month, and I get a book each month, and I can go through maybe 2 or 3 books in a month actually, listening to them this way. And the first thing I did with my audiobook subscription is I started listening to books on how to do network marketing. And a couple that I'll share with you that I really got a lot out of was GoPro. And we talked about that earlier on some other calls, and we saw that at the last monthly meeting. But I found that a really good book just to kind of outline what exactly was expected of me as a network marketer, because this was a completely new business for me. And I really wanted to buckle down and learn how to do it and save time. And the other book that I read was called Icebreakers. And that really helped me start conversations with people, at a restaurant or people I met for the first time. And in all these places where you need to bring this kind of conversation up. And that was another thing that I wasn't used to doing. So that book was a real help. And then I read just an overall really good book on creating success called The Success Principles. And I really still go back and read those 3 books or portions of those 3 books over and over again to keep me going. I also had to learn about the healthy living, because that was really what I was interested in, and those are the products I was having the most success with. So I had a lot of questions from potential clients, and I had some questions myself. So the 3 books I read there that I recommend are called Clean, and that's about detoxing and the science kind of behind that. It will answer a lot of questions about what we're doing with our 30-day challenge. Wheat Belly I read to start to understand a little bit more about the gluten-free and the wheat sensitivities and things like that, and that book is chock full of information. But one that I recommend everybody read for the health and wellness product is called Are You Tired and Wired? It's about adrenal burnout, and I can tell you that's where all of us are. If you're not there, you know somebody that's in that situation. And this is what the toxins and the stress and everything are doing to your body. And it talks about the nutrition that is required to fix this kind of adrenal burnout where your hormones just kind of break down, your insulin kind of goes haywire, and you cannot lose weight no matter what you do. I think you'll find your profile, your client's profile. You might know yourself in this book, or you might know everybody in this book, but that really helped. Those 3 books really helped me to understand a lot more about our what we had to offer through the healthy living, and it helped me talk about that to my clients and prospective clients with a little more authority. Then another thing I did was, in the realm of reading audiobooks, was I tackled time management because, like Megan said, I have a couple other businesses going on. I'm right now getting ready to go back into the workforce with a full-time 9 to 5. I'm going to have even less time. So the time management book that I've always fallen back on and is working for me really well is called Getting Things Done. It's by David Allen, and I highly recommend it. There's also a couple apps that I've been playing with that kind of help me with that principle of time management, where I can just kind of dump things into and keep them really organized, and I can access all this stuff from my phone, from my tablet, from my computer, my work computer, my home computer. And that's called Evernote is the app. And there's another one that I'm researching right now called Remember the Milk. It's more of a task list, checklist kind of thing. But I'm doing that already inside of Evernote, so I don't know that I'll continue to use it. But those were 2 apps that were recommended to me on time management. So I'm using that book and those apps to kind of streamline things. I can dump my receipt, take pictures of my receipts. They're right there. I don't lose them. I can take notes. I can store voicemail. I can store chats. I can store all kinds of stuff in there. Articles I'm reading on the internet with just like a tap of a button. So I would highly recommend getting your hands around the time management too. And one of the other tools that I used was the Arbonne.com. I just got on Arbonne.com, and I was doing numerous learn and burns. We had a challenge at one point. I think we had to do like 10 learn and burns, and I just was going through them. I found them extremely informational for when you're first starting your business and very motivating. I mean, these are people who are giving you lessons learned from people who have succeeded. So I figured, I need to know their secrets, so I need to know what works for me. A lot of messages were just repeated over and over, so they got ingrained in me and what exactly to do. So I really like that, and I really like the source on Arbonne.com because you can get look for the product sheets, answer any questions that you've got or your clients might have. And I tried to look through that, look through all the topics and stuff that were in there and just kind of educate myself that way. And the last thing that I actually used as far as a tool is all the goal setting sheets. There's several of them out there. I find that the one that we're using recently, where you're using you categorize things into, here's the top 10 people that I'm going after to build a business. Here's the top 10 people I'm going after to give to maybe buy, give product to or do one-on-ones with, to kind of break it out like that, so that I'm ultra focused on those people and I have their contact information at my fingertips, can do it in the car, can do it wherever I'm at. I find that I waste time filling out a lot of the other sheets, and I don't want to spend so much time filling out a bunch of sheets. I find that one gets me right to the point, and I carry all my prospects with me all the time, and I can make those calls in the nooks and crannies of my day. And the last thing that I can tell you that has been extremely beneficial for me is attending the events. The Tom Barrett training was awesome. I got a lot out of that. I think there was one meeting that we had where we met Carlita Nelson. That was a really good meeting. The monthly team meetings and participating in the challenges. You just have to stay engaged. And I find when I move away from that and I'm not engaged, my paycheck shows it. When I'm engaged and I'm doing the challenges and I'm plugging into the monthly meetings and I'm going to the trainings and, we've got GTC coming up, I find that's when my business gets the most momentum. But I think those are probably the top things that I did just to kind of get myself started, learn the business, get comfortable with it, and kind of get a plan of action going. And again, the Learn and Burns and, the audiobooks, the professional development, you just can't do enough of that.
Awesome. So as you can see, Tammy I showed up at her business launch and everything was set up. She's got books that she's reading, already tapping into amazing resources for our industry. So just something to think about too, as you're starting people in the business, like how proactive are they about their own businesses? We can handhold, but there's only so much that we can really do to help somebody along. There has to be that, initiative of somebody to really take this and run with it. So thank you, Tammy. That was awesome. So Melanie, I'm going to move on to you because Melanie had an incredibly strong start in her business and is such a rock star. She's a young up-and-comer. She's a lawyer in Washington, D.C. And so I love that we have such a diverse group of people in this business. And a couple things kind of got shook up in her business when she got started. And so then things didn't look exactly the way they had right when she got going. And Melanie has been such an overcomer and just has had so much perseverance in terms of personal growth. And I've just been so interested in her journey and just watching her grow into this independent leader. And so I wanted her to share just kind of seeing through the fear and moving forward when your business kind of has those, those valleys. So Melanie, if you would not mind sharing, that would be awesome.
Well, hi guys. So I'm really happy to be sharing with you today. Thank you, Megan. Those are very kind words. So I think the main thing that I really had to identify is like, what is fear? I was talking to Megan over the weekend, and I realized through what Tammy and Mandy said about having to keeping on plugging in with my personal development, even if my business wasn't really active. I've been present at the meetings, I've been plugging into my personal development, and through that I've realized that really the main thing holding me back in my business, or that has been holding me back in my business up until recently, was my own fear. And then I was trying to figure out, what is fear generally and what am I afraid of? So I've been doing some research, and I found scientific studies that show that our brains react to physical fear the same way it reacts to like the fear of intense social rejection. And when we feel intense social rejection, it lights up those same places that that physical fear does, because we're conditioned to be scared of woolly mammoths and saber-toothed tigers, going back to our original physiology. But if I'm afraid of somebody saying no to hosting a party for me, I shouldn't have the same reaction that I would to confronting a tiger. But my brain has that same reaction. So how do I push beyond that? I feel like for me, pushing beyond my fear of being on the phone, my fear of social rejection, my fear of what will people think of me, is to identify it, break it down, and then reframe it. So really our whole lives are made up of stories that we tell ourselves, and the fear becomes that story. So we tell ourselves this story of, if I ask this awesome woman to host a party for me, she'll laugh at me, and then she'll say no, and then I'll feel humiliated, and then I'll never have friends again. Or like whatever the story that you make up in your mind is probably way more outlandish and ridiculous than will actually happen in real life. but even if it's not, like, who cares? You just ask another person. So I think it's kind of recognizing that we have to make our own stories, and then figure out, all of the scenarios that could happen, and laugh at the ridiculous ones, because it's just a party. And why would she do that to you? And, and embrace the fact that actually more positive things will always be happening you can never imagine. So one of the great books that's really gotten me to this point is called Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. She's a social worker, and she's an incredible woman. And she writes about vulnerability and fear, and how vulnerability is really the antidote to fear. Because vulnerability is exposing yourself to risk of social ridicule, to risk of physical danger, to risk of, everyone who's on this call took a risk, because you're entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs are risk takers. So we're all vulnerable people. We're all people who embrace vulnerability. And every time we have a conversation with a stranger and offer them a sample, we're being vulnerable. So let me just make sure I'm up with my notes. Fear, storytelling. Yeah. So we, since we are the authors of our lives, we have to rewrite. We have to rewrite our stories, but we're also the readers of our fears. So if we're afraid of something, we have to be able to interpret that fear, and and say, like, I'm not going to let that fear control me. So even if your faith really is the size of a mustard seed, you have to hold on to it and focus on it. And that's where your why comes in, because if your faith is the size of a mustard seed, your why has to be able to pull you towards the faith and away from all the fear, because the fear can really be overwhelming, and it has been for me. So I'm just going to leave you with this thought. I really encourage everyone to not let go of the personal development. I've been listening to TED Talks, I've been going to the meetings, I've been reading, and I've really learned a lot about myself and about how I react to when I'm afraid, which is to disengage and to withdraw and to not offer an opportunity to other people. So moving beyond that, I've been doing personal development, but also I've been listening to other people, because actually if I'm really afraid, then I'm focusing on myself. But if I'm really open and vulnerable, I'm listening to somebody else, and I'm listening to them say that, my skin is really bad, or I feel I'm really unhealthy, or I'm sick all the time, or I have no time for myself because I have these crazy hours and I hate my job and I want out. So yeah, shifting the focus away from myself has also really helped me get over my own fears, because fears are so inward looking, and this business and being an entrepreneur is about being outward looking. So I'm going to end with a quote from the book, Brene Brown's book, Daring Greatly. Okay, vulnerability is not weakness, and the uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure we face every day are not optional. Our only choice is a question of engagement. Our willingness to own and engage with our own vulnerability determines the depth of our courage and the clarity of our purpose. That's our why. The level to which we protect ourselves from being vulnerable is a measure of our own fear and disconnection. When we spend our lives waiting until we're perfect or bulletproof before we walk into the arena, we ultimately sacrifice relationships and opportunities that may not be recoverable. We squander our precious time, and we turn our backs on our gifts, those unique contributions that only we can make. Perfect and bulletproof are seductive, but they don't exist in the human experience. We must walk into the arena, whatever it may be, a new relationship, an important meeting, a creative process, or a difficult conversation, or an Arbonne opportunity, with courage and the willingness to engage. Rather than sitting on the sidelines and hurling judgment and advice, we must dare to show up and let ourselves be seen. That is vulnerability. That is daring greatly. So you all can do it. You can build your businesses. You can go district, get your bonuses, go area, go region, and just keep on plugging.
And nation.
And nation, of course. That was understood.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Melanie. You bring tears to my eyes, because I've just watched you grow so much as a leader, and I'm just so, I feel so blessed that you're a part of our team. So I'm so glad that you've been daring greatly, girl. All right. So someone else here, is Monica on the line? Monica, are you there? Okay. So I wanted to also have Sherry share as well, because Sherry is someone who she just is so consistent in hitting her goals monthly. And sometimes they're big, fat, hairy goals. And so I said, Sherry, can you please just share how you are raising the bar for yourself every month and then continually knocking it out of the park? I mean, you guys see her in the team meetings, always hitting, the perfect brick and the district manager bonus. And I'm just always so impressed with how you're able to pull through. One time we were talking, it was, the day before the end of the month, and she had to bring in like $3,000 to hit her goal, and she was freaking out. And then of course the next day she's like, oh, yep, done. So if you could please share Sherry, and Sherry is a busy working nurse with a husband who owns a business and also has kids. So also a very, very busy person.
Okay. All right. So here, so much that I got confused on that we were here tonight. Yes. So what I have done is, I'm a rule follower. So I have set just a good base of learning from going from the Dropbox and listening to call number 1 and doing what I'm supposed to do, listening to call number 2. I think there's a third call, doing the 100 person list and working on my why, so that I have a good base to work on doing learn and burn. And then I really work hard on getting my brick every month. I feel like that's just such a priority, because your brick is your 2,500 plus it's 5 new people, 5 new either consultants or preferred clients. And so you need to continually, even though you're getting volume, you really need to keep getting new people, because then that grows my base and my client base. And so, so then I really try and treat my clients nicely, love on them. When I do a party, I always will do a handwritten thank you note to each guest who came. They always appreciate that. If they get the whole RE9 set, I'll, write out directions and steps for them, and then I follow up with phone calls. And so then I have some loyal clients that I can draw from. At the end of the month, I have a few that always tell me, well, if you need some more, if you need the order at the end of the month, let me know. And so I have some regulars that will do that. And as I grow my base, then I have more regulars joining me, and I'm not just drawing from the same 5 or 10, people, because now I have a pretty good base of clients, because I'm always adding new people by doing that and trying to be consistent on my brick. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. And then I also want to say too is not comparing yourself to other people in your journey, because it's so easy to do. And I find when I do that, then your belief in yourself goes down, because then you get insecure. And so it's really just staying focused on your own journey as well.
And Sherry, would you say that you're focusing most on booking, scheduling presentations, samples, or one-on-ones, or what are you doing there?
Okay, I do group presentations, definitely, because you can get a lot more bang for your buck. You can talk to a lot more people. So I really, really try and schedule group presentations. And then I always have a sample on me. Always have the RE9 sample in my purse on me, and I give those out a lot and follow up a lot. So that helped me so much in the beginning, is just lots of samples, always, and always following up on those. So that helped me grow my base as well. When I had when I didn't have as many group presentations at first.
Awesome. Thank you.
Is that good?
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love it. All right. So we're going to get down to hitting some goals. And Andy, I've asked you to speak too, but we're going to save you until the end. So don't let me forget you. So basically when we're setting up, I just wanted to have you guys, because we have people from all kind of different levels in this business on the call. And what's great is as we're starting people, it's great to kind of hear from others what's a great way to get people started and things to be thinking about. And then kind of just as we're growing, what is that system that's in place that's really going to help us to be successful? And so when we're looking at setting goals, we're basically always striving to promote to the next level in Arbonne, or we're looking to bonus. And that's what I love about Arbonne's compensation plan is they have it set up so beautifully so that we always have something that's somewhat, within reach that we can really move towards. And so I remember as I grow my business, I'm always looking to outperform my last month and look at what's within reason. I create unreasonable goals for myself. I do. They're huge. They're wildly huge. My goal this month is to go halfway to nation because I know that if I'm pushing my goal that far, ahead, that I'm going to land a lot farther, forward than I would have if I would have had a smaller goal. So basically, if you're brand new on this call, you want to communicate your intentions with your sponsor or your VP or area manager, and then be coachable. And that's even if you're not new, you really want to make sure that you're heard in terms of where you want to go so that the person who's helping you in this business will partner with you if they see that you are in activity and have some place that you want to go in this business, because those who are helping you along in this business will want to help you get where you want to go. So lean on those leaders. So, and then wherever you are in this business, we've been doing these great challenges. And for those of you who have been a part of it and have been in the business for a year or 6 months or just however long you've been in the business, it has created a flurry of activity. So, if you're sitting at a place in your business where you're like, I'm a little bit of a standstill, get into a flurry of activity. And this is especially when you're first getting started. Tom Barrett says in Dare to Dream, Work to Win, most businesses look a lot better when there's an extreme amount of activity right in the beginning of getting started in this business. And that's why we kind of plug into that, activity action plan right when someone gets started. But that's at any time in the business. I mean, when my business is starting to flatline, you better know I am scrambling to get into activity. So do that activity though in the very small times of the day when you have a minute here, a minute there, where you can just fit it in and gain that momentum. Because what we're finding with these challenges, I hope you guys are feeling this, that it's a lot more activity, but it doesn't really change your life. I mean, have you noticed that? When I do 8 parties in a month or 12 parties in a month versus 4 parties in a month, I don't really feel it that much because it's 2-hour increments. It's like 2 hours that I would have been doing something else that I would much rather be doing, an Arbonne event for. So I say just challenge yourself and go for it. And then it'll help you to realize how much more you're actually capable of doing in this business. So as you're planning your month and looking at your numbers, there's really only, what do I have here? Really 4 basic functions that we're doing to create momentum and revenue in our business. So the income producing activity is the first thing I look at when I'm starting my month is who's starting in my business this month? Who do I have who is actually starting their business and has presentations booked to business launches, or who is sneak peeking? So they're kind of interested in the business, but they're hosting 1 or 2 presentations. What presentations do I have on the books right now? And then I'm looking at either running those presentations or talking to people on the phone, booking or running one-to-ones. I mean, that's really what this business is. It's those things. So if you want to be really simple about it, I got 2 sections for you: group presentations and one-to-ones. That's all it is. That's what we get paid to do. You can call them whatever you want, but it's groups and one-to-ones. And we break those down. And if you want to back into your numbers, we have this great monthly, I don't know if you guys, I'm in a little, I don't know if you see me big on the screen right now. We have a great monthly goal setting sheet that you might have seen something like this if you're not in our region. But basically, it's taking your goal and breaking it down into bite-sized chunks. And I look at my personal, district every month, and I go, okay, this is my goal. If I want it to be 10,000, where is that coming from? And so I'm looking at this going, I need to back into that. So what does that look like in terms of group presentations? How many do I need to have on my calendar? This month, if you would want to finish district manager, and you're starting from scratch, it's absolutely achievable. And I broke down on this sheet. So 6,000, for instance, is district manager. And they say if you want to go nation, you just keep promoting yourself to district manager time and time and time again. So your number of groups is basically, if you're looking at groups and one-to-ones, let's say 10 groups. Just go for it. Even if it's not 10, even if it's 5, with an average of 500, which we're going to have groups that are well above 500, and then we'll have groups that, some of them are below. I always find that my groups well outperform the 500 average. So look at how many groups do you need to have on the calendar to really hit that goal? And then how many one-to-ones? We have on average, I think with the ASVPs, the one-to-one average has been beefed up to about 250. So what's your closing ratio? I know for me, I'm not as effective in one-to-ones. Some people are. It just depends on really what works for you in your business. So if you are a mad closer on the one-to-ones, maybe 10 one-to-ones bearing 250 is $2,500 right there. So then break down the rest of that, income. Where is it coming from? Maybe 2 sneak peeks is another $1,000. So you're at 3,500. And then you're looking at 2 to 3 group presentations to pull you over to get you to that 6. And then you'll have client reorders as well. So I just wanted to so simple. If you like to use the monthly goal sheet that's available, our region has something called a Dropbox. I'm sure if you're not in my region, you might have seen something like this before where you just break down simply. I look at those 2 things. I go, what groups are on the books? How much are those going to yield? What one-to-ones do I have? Who's getting started? And I just go to town then, circling on my calendar the empty spaces of 2 to 3 hours that I have for Arbonne presentations that I can be at, and I'm on the phone booking those times. So that is really how I kind of back into my numbers. Do you guys have any questions about that? No? Okay.
Yes, I do have a quick question.
Yes.
JC.
Hi, JC.
Where would I find a description of what the perfect brick is? Is that explained on the monthly goal sheet?
No, we actually explain that at every team meeting. We kind of lay it out. It's basically $2,500 of PRV with 5 new preferred clients or consultants.
Each month?
Each month.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So if you're, like Sherry was saying, doing that perfect brick, just tremendous things are going to happen from the momentum of that. So we look at perfect brick, we look at district manager, and then we're looking at promoting out districts is kind of the longer term, success. So good question. Thank you. Anybody else? All right. Well,
Megan.
Oh, yes.
Excuse me. What do you consider sneak peeking?
So a sneak peek is when you're sitting there with somebody at the closing. Okay. is very, I would say, rarely are you talking to somebody about the business and they go, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an Arbonne. You know, they're sitting there kind of processing. And whenever somebody goes into that mode when I'm doing a one-to-one with them, I've like, you know, really, I kind of lay it out for them, you know, the business. I'm like, kind of talk to them a little bit about Arbonne. And when they're, first of all, you guys, I'm going to listen to them, really hear what they are, you know, what their why is. And then want to kind of relate with them and say, well, maybe this could be a business for you. So I'm definitely planting the seed strong that I want them on my team. And then they kind of sit there and do that, I don't, you know, they're thinking about it. I kind of just take that momentum of them kind of thinking about it and just move it forward into a revenue producing activity, which is in a group event. So it's, and I always take it away. I say, you know what, this might be for you. It really might not be for you. What would be really, what I find is a great next step. So it's like you're stepping them through the process. What I find is a great next step is, even if you're, and I'll even say this, even if you're like just a little bit interested or 50% interested, however you want to say it, just kind of staying behind them. Even if you're just a little interested, a great way to see what we do is to get just a couple people together so that you can hear about these Arbonne products. And I would love to get you an incredible amount of product at an 80% discount and some free products. I would love to get you $1,000 worth of products at 80% off. Like, really paint the picture of what hosting can do for them. So you planted the seed with them about the business, so it's in their brain, but now you're actually getting into their network. They're getting to see a party, they see you in action, they're getting more comfortable, and you're gonna make money. So that's a sneak peek.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I find most people will do one. If someone is really interested in the business and they're kind of like 80%, I'll, you know, ask them to do 2, because that way they're ready to roll.
You do that before you would sit down with business, Jacqueline.
So it would be during the business presentation when I'm feeling like they're about to shut it down, and I'm going to leave there and have no next step.
Okay.
It just keeps that process going.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Any other questions? All right. So I've had some questions about events. We have a lot going on right now in our nation. And so I am going to be keeping under my Arbonne consultant group there on Facebook all of the events. So I've actually set up any calls or Zooms scheduled. So our, you know, team meeting is there, that's in person. This is a monthly strategy call. We'll do this just, you know, once a month. And then we have other calls like Rising Stars calls and some bait ball calls that are for managers. All of those are going to be listed under the events so that you have one place to go to find everything. And I think what I'll do is pull the calls as well that Lynn and Andy are offering and put those as events too, the ones that, you know, they want us on, because some of them are just for their regions or their centrals, and we don't have to be on everything. So is that helpful to just give everybody a place to go, one place? Okay, so look under events, because I really want to just keep that simple. And then I had a question Megan Walnut asked today. We've been doing a challenge, and today's challenge homework, if you guys have seen, was to post on Facebook kind of a Love Your Face Valentine's special with the RE9. And so Andy, if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about that, and then on the consultant group, I'm going to post the 2 pictures in the verbiage for that so that everyone can go and do that, because we've been seeing really great results with that.
All right. So this challenge actually for me was one of the really fun and easy challenges that we've had to do. So basically, it's really simple. All you need is your personal Facebook page The verbiage, like Megan said, is going to be given to you. Pictures are going to be given to you, and the pictures are really cute. It's like heads up, like pick me, pictures and information about the Genius. So basically, what you have to do is post the verbiage and the pictures on your personal Facebook page. It's basically asking 15 people who are willing to here to try the RE9 set and the Genius, and that's optional, I guess, if you're willing to give that out to them. And then basically 5 days later, you're gonna follow up with these people and then offer them obviously a discount, if they want to buy products, and also a gift. Really. So it's really fun because I'm gonna give you basically consistency and activity for people who don't have anything.
Hold on 1 second. Can everybody mute except for you, Andy? All right, let's try again. Back.
All right. So, am I still echoing?
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to mute some people here. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So, I'm trying to think where I left off. So basically, you send people, the samples, and it's a really good way for you to get activity going, especially if you don't have any idea what to do or you have nothing going on. You post this and people basically comment and tell you if you're interested. So just, I want to share basically my experience today. So I saw the assignment. I was actually on my way out. I remember it was 1 p.m. I was on my way out to see and meet a new consultant of mine. And I said, oh, I'll just do it when I come home. Then I was like, wait a minute. I think I should post it now because I really shouldn't wait. It'll take me 2 seconds. So I literally grabbed the pictures, put the verbiage on Facebook and left. And then on my way home, I was talking to Mandy. We're just following up because we always talk about our businesses together. And she was like, oh my gosh, I just posted it and I have so many comments and people are so excited they want to try it. So then I'm like, really? Let me check mine. So I checked and nobody had said anything. So I'm like, I was kind of disappointed. So then, I stopped for a moment and I was like, you know what? It's not a competition. I got to remember. So then I just said a quick prayer. I just remembered that Bible verse, ask and it will be given to you, seek and you should find, you will find, knock and the door will be open. So I just said a quick prayer and then I said, whatever, God's will be done. So I get home, I check my Facebook again, and lo and behold, a friend of mine who I actually never thought of for the business, she liked it, but she didn't comment that she wanted to do it. So I was bold enough. I was like, well, if she liked it, I wonder if she actually wants to do it. So I actually used that as an opportunity to ask her. And she said, sure, she'll be really interested. And just from that, and talking to her back and forth, actually ended up talking about nutritional stuff, which to me was really fun because then it kind of, it's an activity that really leads you in to get more activity. And it's just, it helps with that momentum and really gets you excited. And we're all, following up and getting so excited, encouraging each other, how many do I have? So anyway, it's just a really good activity. And I encourage everybody to do it because it's really simple, doesn't require, much time and effort. So it'll be great for you to follow up with people and just get activity going for the month.
Thank you, Andy. And just so you guys know, I did hold my breath when I hit post because I don't post business stuff on my personal page. And so it was a leap of faith to actually do it. And I had tremendous success with it. And I think it's because my network knows that I'm not taking advantage of social media with them. So we don't do these things more than maybe twice a year. So it's not something that we're saying do every single month. It's, something where we can just get a little wind in our sails every once in a while. So Valentine's Day, it's really cute. You can wrap a bow around the RE9, stick some heart stickers on it. Some of my kind of like lukewarm clients who order every once and again, I might pop in, the nutrition with their, set, or even a couple of like the neck cream or something I know they don't use. So just to spoil them a little bit. So with that, we went a little bit over on time. I want to make sure that we covered everything. Awesome. Okay, I think I've shared everything I wanted to share. If you guys don't have any more questions, I would just recommend at this time pulling together your goals for the month and getting with your area manager or VP and sharing those goals and making sure that the plan is good and just go for it. So anything else, you guys? I know I muted everybody, so if you want to say anything, just unmute yourself.
Yeah, I wanted to ask a question. So the Valentine's thing was open to like the first 15 people who respond. So I'm assuming then, Andy and Megan, that you have 15 RE9 sample sets on hand. But if you don't, is there time, like when you send it out, to go ahead and put in an order and get some more and then send it to them?
I would just go ahead and get them ordered and then maybe wait a couple days, because this is something that we can do leading up to Valentine's Day. So wait maybe, until they're in transit so that you can be somewhat timely with your clients.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. And it gave me such, I don't know, it was awesome because a lot of the people who responded are people who have been watching me in the business a long time and they just haven't bought products. So now they just totally open the door to let me just hound them. So, especially about getting on product. I can't stand it when I want people on my team and they're not even on product, because that is such a huge piece of having people join us. So it was really, for me, just encouraging, very encouraging. So anybody else, any last questions here? Well, just for our region, to let you know, there might be one more little mini challenge around the corner. So take this Voxer silence and just relish in it, because our phones are about to be blowing up again, and by the beginning of next week. So there will be more to come on that. All right. And I will see all of you on Monday night at the team meeting, and probably before that too. So bye. Have a great night. Thank you all for sharing who shared. I really appreciate it. And you're all MVPs and did a phenomenal job. So thank you guys.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Good night. Bye. Good night.